being able to take it with me. So, all right, I'm going to start with outside and we'll take it from there. So let's turn my camera around. So this is my little I think it's a Dodge Ram ProMaster. It's because I can really pack this baby. So this is my smaller van. I do have a Mercedes Sprinter truck that that's in my storage facility right now because I live in a townhome and I can't park big vehicles out front. But if you have your own home, you could do whatever you want. So I have a lot of knot lamps. Yes, I use them, but I also add a little extra weight to them because I just like when things are super secure. So, and I wrap them, but
and
I literally go to like.
Ava, I'll need you to make sure you stay slow in on areas because the cell service is a teeny bit different than it was earlier when we were practicing, but it's still good.
Okay, so I literally put like 5-pound weights, and these are weightlifting, regular weights. I get them at Dick's store or Walmart, and I put them on, I tape them, and I cover them. So I make it a little bit heavier. So if you want it to be a little bit more, because I like when things are over secured. My ladders that I use, I have like a 17-foot ladder, a smaller ladder. So it really depends on the application or the installation. I will take my ladders with me, my mag movers. Now, these are tanks that are going to be leaving, so they're kind of in the way. But what I wanted to show you was where I keep all of my odd stuff that, I cut a piece of pipe, I have extras. I just throw everything in here, and, you never know when you're going to need something. So I kind of keep those. Moving along, I have, these are recyclable patterns that I get out of my Home Chef delivery package. So I do everything that I get, I think about how I can use it within the space before I throw it away. So I like to use those to pack my furniture equipments, so that way I don't have to buy furniture padding. And these are pretty cool, and they're free, so why not? This is where I hang all of my foam core. I use the back of my garage door because it's empty, and what else are you going to use it for? So again, I look at every single space within an area, and I think about how I can use it and maximize it, and etc. So I do a lot of woodworking. I did build these boxes out of wood that I salvaged, or I should say dumpster dived. So I built all of my tables, and I put wheels on them. So this is, my table saw and etc. If you're not into that, then that's fine. But I like to get my hands dirty. And these are my super cheap indoor, I have one out here already, balloon bases. And I love these because I use my miter saw and I cut the what do you call this? I think it's called a T.
Yes.
Part of your PVC plumbing. And I just cut it to get a flat surface, and I drill it into the board directly. So I use what I have, and literally I can take a PVC pipe and I can just stick it in there, and I can make a column. So I'm gonna see if I can find a piece of PVC for you. And this is what it looks like. So that's a column. I know a lot of people have a lot of different ways to make columns. If it's indoor, I don't want to go back for it. This literally can cost $2. So again, it's a little bit more economical. I do try to keep everything up and off the floor. Things that are not on wheels should be up and off the floor. So I buy these racks, and you don't have to purchase this one because I believe I paid about $60 for it. But you can do the ladder racks, and this is what I have here. And everything that I bend, everything that I've used, I just store it here because I just like when things are out of the way. And I have a lot of things pre-cut, so a lot of those PVC pipes, I had to make 20 columns recently, and everything is cut to 5 feet. And if I have a job, when I have a job, I just grab what's there, and I make it, I make my decor. Any questions?
Let me check. People are asking, what kind of wood do you use?
Okay, so these are 1/2 inch MDF. I like the MDF because it's smoother and it's a bit heavier and easier to work with than your standard plywood. I did dumpster dive these, so I have them. And also they're not as, I find the plywood tend to warp a lot more than the MDF. And when you're building a column, you want it to be straight, you want it to be sturdy. So I prefer to use the MDF, but quite frankly, I will use whatever wood I got for free.
So Ava, just a question on that. You don't use MDF outdoors, do you?
No, these are only for indoor. I'm just gonna swing around here and I'm gonna show you my outdoor bases. These are made by my an iron worker. I don't make these myself. I bought a sheet and I think I paid maybe $500. No, not five. I paid about $300 for the sheet. I was able to get 8 pieces out of there. And so it ended up costing me about $40. And these are about 45 pounds each. These are what I use for outdoor. I don't trust, even with the bricks, I know that a lot of you guys use the paver stones. I am just super cautious about everything and overprotective and just, liability. So I use these heavy duty steels. And again, in my box on wheels, it is heavy to move, but that's what I do. Okay. So those are my outdoor. These are only for indoor. Please, only for indoor. I wouldn't use these outdoor.
All right, so a couple of questions is, do you use wood screws on your MDF board?
Yes. These are my wood screws. Oops, where's my camera? So those are my
heads.
Yeah. Please, these, and I have to make this correction. So these are actually drywall screws, and they weren't as sturdy as I wanted them to be. So that's why I bought those screws, and I'm going to be screwing in with the wood screws when I use these again. But at the time, I used what I had. I use a lot of tool, guys, a lot of tools. I have a handsaw, I have a circular saw, I have a miter saw, I have a table saw, a lot of things I use. So again, here's a great tip that I wanted to share with you guys. I bought these things before I discovered a space called Hackerspace or Innovation Center. There are some wonderful work studios out there that will have all of this equipment that you could pay a monthly membership. I pay $50 to have access to my Hackerspace, and my Hackerspace has every single piece of equipment, machinery that you can think of, everything from a screwdriver to a laser cutter. And I use that laser cutter a lot. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, you can probably, research and see if there's one close to you, because I know that they're popping up everywhere. They're like the new workspace for entrepreneurs. You can, go there and work with other people and utilize all of their equipments and their resources. And it's just a monthly fee. I pay $50 a month. Oh my gosh, like the best $50 I've ever spent. So
is your miter saw a sliding saw?
Yes, I did. I did get a sliding saw.
Don't.
Oh, it's hot.
You don't want to cut your cord.
Huh?
Your
No,
cord
well,
was in the front.
Yeah, I see that. Yep, don't cut the cord. But yeah, so I use that, and I also use it with this cute little device. It's called an eye socket. You can plug your tool and your shop vac into it, and when you turn on your table saw, it automatically turns on your shop vac, and that's great for dust collection. I do have an air filter in my ceiling. It's called a shop fox. If you are doing any kind of wood cutting in an enclosed area, it's so important to have that to get the dust particles out. Otherwise, over here would be covered with dust every day, all day. So again, I set up my garage, to to really be a true working space. I don't expect you to be cutting anything in your home because that's just hazardous and it can be a real mess. So just keep that in mind. And moving along here, guys, if you don't do any of this, you don't have to have any of this. Had I discovered my hackerspace before I outfitted my garage, I would have not had anything like this in my garage, but I have the equipment, so I use it. And this is a table that I built, and I think I showed this last night, but this is a table that I built specifically to hold my tools because, you know, I'm grabbing a drill constantly, I'm cutting, I just need easy access. So I built this table specifically to hold my tools. And if I need a drill, I could just grab it and go. And I did mention that I love these DeWalt drills. They're cordless and they are so powerful. Love them. So if you do, you know, it screws into the metal bases really easily, but just make sure you use these screws. They're called Trex, whatever. And I got that tip from David Mahoney because I did attend the what was it called, Joette, in Orlando?
You came down to Bridge the Gap to Success in Orlando.
And I have been bridging the gap ever since. So that was I love hands-on webinars, or conferences. If you can go and get that hands-on experience, it's priceless and highly recommended.
So Ava, you're saying people should come join me in November in Orlando?
I want to join you in November. I still have I keep this in my in my garage. I am constantly referring to the tools and the tips and the resources in this. So I keep this handy document, very handy.
Cool.
Okay, so again, I try to keep everything out the ceiling. So my bike was in the way, so I'll put it in the ceiling. All right, so for me, everything is on wheels. This is one of the tables that I work on, and I promised you that I would show you the wheels that I put on everything that I use. I don't go less than a quarter. The size on these is 2.5 inches. I like the ones that lock too, because if I don't want something moving, I can easily lock it into place. I use these bigger ones for my heavy duty stuff. So the bucket with my 45-pound weights, you're going to need something pretty massive. So these are my tools and my wheels. And as you can see, I have tons of them because everything that I build, everything that I bring in, I find a way to put it on wheels. And it's the same thing with this. I could wheel this out of the way. Whoa, there is a cat in my garage and I do not own a cat.
He wants to see what's going on, Ava.
No, okay, hold on. This cat is
got to go.
I don't own a cat.
That's funny. All right, so while Ava takes care of her cats, one of the things that I know is coming up is that she's going to show you how she does her ribbon, as she gotten a lot of questions on that afterwards last night.
I'm so sorry. I'm getting ready to run because I don't do animals.
He won't attack you.
I don't know. I don't know. Did one of you girls send him? Because he is checking out my van. Oh, and he's going in my van. Okay. All right. I'm going to.
All right. Ribbon.
He's in my van. Okay. Somebody needs to come and get their cat. Okay. All right. So this is, I think about every single square footage that I could use. What I did with this is I used the netting material and I basically created a net all the way around this table. So I put netting around the whole thing, and this is where I keep my balloon bags because I put everything in a bag before I leave. So if I need to grab a bag, I just grab it out of here, grab it out of here, and I can bag my balloons and I could leave. This is my inflation station, my helium. I don't bring my helium in my house, so it has to stay in the garage. And I know that the gas isn't dangerous or anything like that, but I just don't want to log that big, heavy thing on my hardwood floors. So I keep it in the garage. I do use a transfill valve. So I have a little tank in my van, and I transfill out of my big van into my little van. It's called a transfill
You're
valve.
transferring your tank, your
Yeah,
helium
I'm
tank.
transferring the gas out of this tank into a smaller tank. And that's how I replenish and make sure, well, I always have helium with me, even if it's not a helium job. You never know when you're going to show up and somebody's going to want some helium balloons, or sometimes they'll have balloons and be like, hey, can you inflate these for me? And I'm like, sure, it's going to cost the same, but I'm making, I take every opportunity to get an extra income wherever I can. So I keep my little tank with me. So this is my ribbons. And somebody had asked me how I cut my ribbons. And I do have this piece of equipment here that you can string up your ribbons. I don't use it anymore because for me, I just literally put my ribbon in the drawer that I want. And it has a little space right there. And I just pull it out and cut it as I need it. And that's how I do my ribbons. It's just faster and easier for me. And I make sure, because I do Balloon Planet delivery, I do a lot of helium balloons. And it's just easy for me to come out and have my ribbons pre-cut and easily access. I was showing Joette how one of the things that I love with the hook is that it keeps the bottom of the ribbon out of your way. And when you're inflating a lot of different colors, everything is stored. I do have a little catch net, so everything goes up into the net, and I bag them. So my plan is to just do one really big net instead of these two smaller ones, but that's what I bought, so that's what I use. I do have this, I got this, these are chains that you can get out of Home Depot. I kind of recycled these.
Can you focus in on the chain just a little bit more? There you go.
So these are the chains that I found in Home Depot, and I kind of recycled this this rod, but you could use maybe like a doily out of Walmart or Home Goods or whatever, and I literally just clip it to my thing, and that's how I created this thing right here. And that's how I store my ribbons. So if you don't have a lot of ribbons like I do, then you can just keep your ribbons in something like that. And again, it costs really nothing. I do personalization, so I do keep some personalized stuff. And one of the things you'll notice with my space is the way it's easy for me to go from point A to point B. I will inflate a balloon right here. I will, get the personalization right here. I'll grab the weights from right here, and I can make my bouquets, and I usually make my bouquets on this table, and then I bag it and I, put it out to the front. So everything for me is about easy access and being able to kind of work in an open space. This is like my most prized possession. That is my Qualitex Sand Balloon Weight Machine. I love this machine because it allows me to make sand weights in no time. And when I have multiple, even I make sand weights for my columns if I want to weigh them down a little bit. I make sand weights for my bouquets if the client doesn't want to pay for those foil balloons weight, because I do charge for those. I don't charge for the sand weight. And I recycle my old balloons. So these are 2016. Never going to use these again. So, and I'm going to just show you what the sand weight looks like. So you open the valve, it brings the sand in, close it, you press this button, it's going to get a little bit noisy. And that's it. And now I have a sand weight, and I'm good to go. So I could just boom, 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 go with that. So that's how that works.
I love that machine.
I love.
They're
Again, just go ahead.
They're currently not making any more of them, so the only way that you get them is to find somebody who's retiring or selling theirs. So if there's a group of you who would want them again, then that would be something to contact Qualitex and let them know, because we did get a run of them about 3 years ago, I think it was, the new ones came out, but they only did so many. So if that's something a bunch of people would want again, you would have to ask Qualitex if they'd rerun it or not.
Yeah, and you can Thank goodness I got it, because again, you can make some really big weights with these, and that's what I used to hold down a lot of stuff. I did get this little table from a store that was closing, but I liked it because it had these little cubbies, and I use my balloon clips to actually tie my bags together. So if I have a helium balloon, um, I actually put the sand weight on the clips, and I use that as a weighted clip. So that if I have a bag of balloons, they're not going to run away from me. They have weights on them and they're clipped closed so they can't open. I do use a lot of, attachments. Everything I did get from Rainbow Balloons. So everything that I need, my glasses, my safety glasses, and I don't want to hear my muffler, my ear muffler, and this is where I keep everything. And then when I'm ready to go, I have my little bag that I fill. There are certain things that I keep in my bag all the time. I always have a connection for my helium. I bought an extra one because I've had so many. After the first job where I forgot the connection, which meant I had no helium, there's no way to use it. I keep this in this bag all the time. And I keep a plug in all the time. And when I'm ready to go, I just unplug my pedal and I take it with me. I do need to get another foot pedal so I can keep it in this bag all the time. The plan is to probably get another machine so I can just keep that in my van all the time, but working on the finance on that one. So again, everything that I can possibly use. Glue sticks, extra bags. Now these are the bags, the really big bags. If you want the bags that can cover a really big column or a lot of balloons, these are baker's rack. The bakers use them to cover the racks for their baking goods in their store, but these are super awesome for balloons. So if you wanted something a little bit bigger than the standard high float bags, the baker rack bags, I got that from the Plastic Factory. I do pre-make a lot of my my balloon drops, and I will make them ahead of time, especially when it comes on to like the holiday season. So I know balloon drops are going to be in demand. I will just pre-make these and bag them and keep them so that when I get the order, I can get up and go. Somebody's going to be getting a book. We'll tell you soon. Yeah, everything. My projector, I usually project stuff in my garage because I do have the space. So with my overlays, I do use the Epson. I don't know, Epson. I bought it because it has, it could be this bright out in the day, and if I project something onto my foam core, I could still see it. So I think it's something with the luminous. So make sure if you're going to get one, make sure you have a high luminous so that you don't have to be in pitch black in order to see the graphics. So it may cost a little bit more money, but it's going to be totally worth it. So this is my garage. I'm going to be heading down to the basement now. So if anybody has any questions, if they want me to get a closer look at anything, let me know before I go.
Cool. Can you do me a favor and just stand back a little bit so we see the pegboard? Yeah.
Okay. And I bought the pegboard in bulk, and I just like cut it and kind of fit the space. And I plan on doing this in the unfinished side of my basement because I actually just love this pegboard system. Like, oh, love it. So that's one pegboard, and that's the other.
Wonderful.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go back around the room. And you could see everything. How long did it take you to set all of this up? Oh, that's a very good question. I've been in business for 4 years. I've probably been working on this consistently. If you look at my walls, you will see that there's so many holes and marks, and I move stuff around. So over the time, as I work more, I figure out how can I make things more efficient? How can I utilize the space more? So what's the one tool you have to have? My sand weight machine. No, that's a good tool, but I have to say one of the things that I realized at a very, very, very early age is that in order for me to work efficiently by myself, I have to make sure I have the equipments that allow me to save time. And those equipments are my, my PA, my DSS, anything that can, I can inflate 100 balloons in 15 minutes on one of these things. So, and I time myself, and I'm probably getting a little bit slow now, but I was like, how can I save time? If you don't have these equipments, it's going to take you 15 minutes to inflate maybe 5 balloons. It's not. So you think about things that are going to save you time. And those are the things that I had first. So I had all of my equipments first. And then I started to just really, pre-cut my ribbons, anything that can save time. A DSS is the dual
split second
sizer. And what it does, it allows you to size the balloon. So yeah, size your balloons one of the things that I tell my clients is, if you go into Party City or one of those stores, you see they're hand blowing up the balloons. And I'm like, the balloons are different size, especially the 3-foot balloons. I'm like, they're always a different size. They never match. This machine allows you to inflate all of your balloons to the exact same size in every cycle. And just here's a tip. I do have my own formula for the 3-foot balloons. If you put it to 7.5 and inflate it 3 times, you get the perfect size. And I do use my, and 7.3 is actually with my 60/40 valve. And I'll just show you that real quickly.
One thing I'm going to just say real quick while you're looking at that, just for the people who are asking. So Conwin is the one that makes the dual split second sizer. Premium is another brand that also now makes an inflation device that's similar. So I know some people only have access to one or the other depending on the distributors. So, and this is for helium, and you can also use it for nitrogen and air compressors.
Yeah. So this is a 60/40 valve. When you put it on, it allows you to inflate. It allows you to put 60% helium and 40% air. For the really big balloons, I mean, unless you want it to float for 2 weeks, you don't really need to put all helium in there. So again, that's how I cut, that's how I will cut costs. I don't charge separately whether I use 100% helium or not. The client doesn't know that, and they don't need to. But that's just a cost saving tip, and why I like my machines, because again, it allows me to work efficiently. It allows me to work faster and get things done in the time that it would take, several people. I can knock that out in the same time. All right, so the garage is going to be closed now. Oh, let me close my car and make sure this cat is out of there.
This should be interesting. Somebody said that they think it's David Mahoney's cat.
I know. Is it like a theme now to do cat appearances in these videos? David Mahoney, come and get your cat. Okay, I have 0 cats. All right, so say goodbye to the garage. Oh, I love this. So these are where I keep my notes when I need to remember things. That's another great way to organize stuff. The night before, you make a list of what needs to be done the next day. What do you need to grab? And you make your list, and you put it somewhere where you're going to see, you're not going to forget. And then you just check that list off as you go. I always forget something. I still do, whether it's, I forgot my tape, I forgot my scissors, I forgot my ribbons, I forgot something. You're gonna forget something, and the best way to minimize that is to make a list. All right, so we're going down to the basement. And this is a path every single balloons that leave my basement takes. I wish I had like a freight elevator, but yeah, the condominium won't allow that. Okay. So this is where the magic happens. This is where I store all of my latex balloons. This is where everything that is not helium required is put together. So I'm just gonna start on this side. Yes, I do wear an apron because it has pockets. It allows me to put things in it when I don't, have pockets. This is over a period of time that I've just like collected stuff. This is actually my daughter's old entertainment system when she was a little girl, and we bought all these little cute furniture for her. And now she doesn't want anything in her room but her TV and her iPhone. So now I said, I paid a lot of money for this stuff. I'm going to use it. So this used to be my old desk where I had my computer, I had everything, but now I have kind of like a workstation thing set up. So now I just like use this for storage. But again, look around your home, look around, and think about how you can recycle, repurpose, and you reuse things. You don't always have to go out and buy something new. Just look around. I use these are Sterilites. I like the 7-drawer systems because you get this little short drawer with it, and most of them comes with the really big drawers, and sometimes I don't need the big drawers, so I kind of store everything. These are my lighting. This is everything like glue and clips and stuff. I use a lot of, what do you call these things again? Whatever you call it, paper.
Tissue.
Yeah, tissue paper. Again, more light and stuff. I have every single light you can put in a balloon. You can think of tons. So that's how I use these, and you can break these apart. You can just like pull up and configure it the way you want. So that's why I love them, and that's why I've been able to build this entire storage system, because I don't even know how many pieces I bought, a lot, but it's over time. I wait for sales, I look for, and I just love them. So a lot of people use other plastic bins, they have other storage systems. I like these because most of the times I just literally take the drawer out and I take it with me. So I always have extra balloons. These bins they're the large, I don't think they really give me a size, but they are the, okay, I could find one of these, okay, here we are. Bear with me. Can you see?
The Sterilite.
Yeah.
Hold it there for a second. Talk.
Okay. So these are the ones, but they do have the 3-drawer ones and they have the 5-drawer ones. I like the 5, but I do buy the 3 because I like the 5. The 5 are these 2 little things. And they're usually, a couple bucks more, but I like those little drawers because this is where I keep my foils. People talk about, how do you store your foil balloons? Well, if they're all circles, I keep all my circles and just keep the colors together. And this is because I do Balloon Planet, and these foil balloons, so I don't like buy foil balloons and just store them. These are all foil balloons that are required as inventory for my Balloon Planet. I do same-day delivery, so I have to make sure I have the inventory. And then every job that I do, there's always extras, so I keep my extras there, and etc. So this is how I store it. And I love the letter balloons as well. I could store them in alphabetical order. For those of you who have like the smaller letters, I buy these file bins and I store, and sometimes I take these bin with me because there's nothing like a balloon going down, and instead of like grabbing the individual thing, I just take the whole bin. It's just easier. So I have every single, these are my A's, and I also keep the big 40-inch letters in here as well. So these are my 14-inch, and then these are my numbers. So I keep all my silver in one bin, and then I keep all of my gold in one bin. And let's talk about the Qualitex, your magazines. I just keep every single image, magazine, my collection. I keep it all because I love to take these with me on client consultation, and I will have them look through the book at designs because, you know, that's where I get my inspiration from. I'll see a design, oh, I want to make this. I'm going to show the client this, and, you know, show them what it looks like. And they're like, yeah, Ava, we like that. We like it. Again, somebody's going to get one of these books. So, yeah. So lots of bins. I wanted to show you how I use these bins. Once I get a job and they have paid me, I will put everything that's needed for that job and I told you guys about how I print the receipt. This is the receipt that I print, and I put it in the bin, and I make sure that I highlight the date and everything like that. And I will close these up and I will stack them. And as I need the job, I'll take the bin, I'll bring it over to my inflation station, or I'll take it upstairs and I'll prep. So that's how I keep organized, and that's how I know what jobs are paid, make sure I have all of my supplies. I do pull my supplies maybe like a week before the job so that I'm ready to go. And that's how I do it. So let's talk about this. Any questions?
Let's see, people said that they bought the 3-drawer last week and put the whole thing in their SUV on the weekend. That's a good tip.
I've done that. I've done that too. I've like taken the whole, like when I have a big job, I'll just like, and that's why I have these loose ones right there. So I'll use those loose ones and I'll pack them up right there. I'll use the loose ones and I'll pack them up. I don't try to take this whole system with me, but yeah. So let's talk about organizing to find your balloons. That's one of the things that I've worked on and changed over the time. And now I'm like, I'm happy with this system. So what I do is I go by towers. So each, you know, this is a tower. Each column is a tower. And that's how I think about it. So in these 2 towers, I have all of my foil balloons. And I go in order of what Balloon Planet, the category that Balloon Planet gives me. So I'll keep all my number balloons together, all of my, deco balloons together, all of my like happy birthday balloons, all of my, let me get a little closer here. So these are all of my Valentine's Day balloons are here, and my Mother's Day and my graduation. So if I ever need a theme, I kind of like keep it in that order. Moving on to towers now, I have all of my printed balloons in this 3rd tower. I have all of my jewel tone balloons in the 4th tower, and I have all of my pearl balloons in in this 1 tower. And when we go to the individual towers, I go by color. So I have clear balloons in 1 draw, and I have mandarin orange in 1 draw, and I go by color. So each draw has all the colors. And if I wanted to open a draw, I'll show you what that looks like. Within the individual draws, I go by size. So I have all of my rounds on one side and all of my entertainment balloons on the other side. So I have 5-inch, 9-inch, 11-inch, 16-inch, and then over here I have 162, 63, 56, 46, and etc. So that's how I keep things in my drawers. And over here, I have solid colors. So I have these 3 towers for and you'll see everything is on wheels. So I can like move it out of the way. Now coming over here is where things get a little bit dicey. I try to separate all of my specialty shapes because I don't use those a lot. So I don't need them in my main inventory drawer. So I might have a drawer with multiple colors, but they're all 6-inch. They're all 6-inch quick links. And I'll do that for like my quick link balloons and my blossoms and my blah, blah, blah. And then my, as I get down here is where you have odds and ends and just balloons I don't know where to do and where to put. And I do have these bottom drawers for all of my 36-inch balloons because I use those a lot. But you'll see, you know, it kind of goes by color over here with these 3 towers. And that's how I keep all of my balloons organized. And I love this system. I've had it, I haven't changed it because it just works. So yeah, I love my towers too. And you know, my thing is, if I go to a big showroom or a store or stuff, this will be in the back. I can still keep my balloons. I do keep my balloons in bags, as you can see, because again, I just like to grab a bag and go. I don't want to have to be, you know, I don't count a lot. I don't count a lot anymore. I just make sure I have a bag, or, you know, and I always have extras. So we'll be copy. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So moving along, this is where I was actually standing last night doing my webinar. This is supposed to be our office area, but my husband is like, yeah, it's your area now. So my Cameo is right here. And I use that a lot. This is like my main computer. And this is where I do anything that has to do with like cutting and printing. My printer is right there. Excuse me. Excuse me. This is how I do my vinyls. I bought these little vinyl holders in Michael's, and they were like $20 each. Now I know a lot of people will use the little what do you call those things, the little trash bag holders from IKEA. I tried that, but I didn't like how I had to have the wall space to be able to access these ones. You know, you just roll it, use it, and put it back. I really like this one. It may cost a little more, but yeah, I like it. And anyway, everything that has to do with like my vinyls, my cutting, anything crafty. Yeah, anything crafty I have in this area. I do use a lot of craft paper, so I did buy the storage for all of my paper. And you can never have enough printer paper, so I have loads. And this is, you know, this is just my little area. I wanted to show people my camera. This is my professional camera. You want to talk about, oh my gosh, Ava, how do you get these beautiful photos on your website? My camera. But a lot of phones have advanced where you could take beautiful, gorgeous photos with your phone. So, but I like to whip that out, you know, and just take awesome pictures. So I still use it. Again, this is one of my craft tables. And because I do a lot of overlay, I'm going to show you. When I need to work, I just pull out a bin, show you what I have in my bin. Everything that you need to cut something with is in this bin. So my pliers, these are what I use to bore the holes for my overlay. Don't attack anyone with those. Please don't. I need to cut some holes, and then this opens up to more stuff. So I really like this. So anything to cut, these are my templates. And this is how I organize my stuff. And I got these bins from Michael's, and I think they were like on sale, so I bought a whole lot. So again, look out for those sales. Look out for, you know, storage ideas that you can use. And this is just one of my bins. This has anything to do with a hot glue, like glue guns and scissors and you know, vinyl stuff. This is like my paper stuff. I got tons of markers. I love this cutting board. So again, this is like my craft table that I can move around with and just pull it wherever I need it. Now, some of you were asking me about, what is this? Okay, I was expecting that there. Okay. That probably has to go in storage. Sorry about that. So this is a table that it's a sewing table. It's for seamstress to cut their fabric, but I kind of liked it, and I was like, I could use this. So I love the fact that it opens up, and when I have to apply vinyl to my balloons, I love the surface area. You know, and I kind of put a tape measuring thing along. It didn't come with this. I put this on so I could, you know, find the center, and I did mark it. So this is the center, and I love the fact that it opens up. And that's what you have. So you have a pretty big space to work with. And again, this is the template for my round balloons. So if I have to put, and I don't know if I have the PDF for this, I could possibly share, but with your round balloons, this is the area that you want to apply vinyl to. Anywhere else is not going to work. So I create that, and I use it to make sure that the Priceline project that I did, I had to apply all these vinyls. So I had to make this. Another thing I apply vinyl to are my stars. So this is my template, and this is, again, the table that I usually use. So that's how I do it. This is where I inflate all of my latex balloons. So I have a lot of equipment here. So I have, again, if you have access to the premium, or if you prefer Conwin. When I started my business, I don't think the premium inflators were around. So everything that I have is Conwin based. So I have the V6, which inflates 2 balloons, and I have the V6, which can inflate a single balloon at a time. I usually take this one with me on jobs and etc. I also have my, what is this? My Mini Cool Air Dual Pro. Boom. Got to have a heat seal, and now they have the balloons that self-seal, but again, there are a lot of balloons that you need to seal. You can, I mean, I like to use equipments that are professional. So the curling iron thing is not going to work for me. And this you get on eBay for like $10. I do have my Air Force, which I have grown to appreciate, especially with the organic balloons that are going around. Oh yeah, you need something like that. And again, anything balloon. Oh, my filibuster. Yeah, I got that for my entertainment balloons. And again, so when I have a job, this table right here, my husband told me it's encroaching on his side. But it actually folds down. Oh, my filibuster is in the way. So it folds down out of the way. So if I don't need it, I'll fold it down. But this is the table that I use to keep all of my supplies, because as you can see, my inflation table, you know, it's a little small, and real estate isn't that much. So if I have a lot going on and I pull out a bin, I'll just like pull out a bin and I'll put it here with all of my balloons. So this is my inflation station. I do have these. Oh, that's what's missing. I took that down. So if I'm working on a project, I will print it out and I will put what I need to do, and I'll put it right there, and I'll just work in this area. And this is, don't ask me why I have so many computers. It's how I convince myself that I have a team working with me. But no, I just never get rid of computers, and I like new technology, and you know, the business pays for it, so why not? I wanted to, if you had noticed, there were a lot of, what happened?
You're
I'm
good.
only seeing you, Joette. Okay, there are a lot of I'm not showing there. So this is what I call my tech bag. Okay, if you have an iPhone, if you have a computer, anything. So I have my headphone, my chargers, my extra batteries. I have this is an extra battery, so if I don't have access to an electric outlet, I could plug my phone in and charge it up. And this is where I keep, you know, connections, headphones, chargers. I just, again, this is my tech bag that I take with me everywhere. I don't leave home without it, because the worst thing that can happen is your phone go dead or your computer is dead and you need to do work. So that's my tech bag. And I don't know what that was. So this cat is haunting me again. These little clips, they're called cable clip. And I love them because this is how I organize everything with a cord. I wrap it up. You know, I used to use a rubber band. It was a break. I used to use like the little wire thing, but I found these in Home Depot and they're like a couple cents. So I love them so much. So much that I have them in every size you can possibly think of. So big ones, medium ones, teeny ones, not so teeny ones. Anything that I can wrap, I need to close, I use them for that. And I got these tables from IKEA. Yeah, all of my tables, my 2 tables over there are from IKEA, and these are from IKEA. So I do, when I get a chance to jump into IKEA, I do go. Again, being organized, keeping all of my monthly receipts. I put these away once a month. I go through, I tuck stuff away, and I have my little file cabinet. So if I ever need to go back, these are all of my files, and I have everything. All of my receipts, my Balloon Planet order, my car notes, my insurance, my bills. I mean, everything. And I keep everything for at least, I think some documents you have to keep for 6 years, some it's 2. So you might want to talk to your accountant about what the requirements are. But I keep my documents because I file taxes, and if I ever get audited, I am ready. So, and that's how my space is organized. Do you have any questions? Joette is on mute.
I am no longer on mute.
Okay.
Wow, what an amazing space, Ava. Thank you so much for taking us through your garage, your vehicle, downstairs to wherever the magic happens when you're doing air-filled. I think this has been amazing. I think the number one thing is just taking the time to make the space work the best and most efficient for you. And I love all these tips. I think a lot of people are going to be heading to IKEA and to Home Depot or Lowe's to buy wheels really soon.
Yeah, everything is on wheels. And here's a bonus room. This is my storage area where I keep, things that I don't need immediate access to. I do save my foils because this foil balloon has been inflated. It was one of the first foil balloons that I inflated, and it's still there. So, hey, why throw it away? And, all of my extra storage. So I do pull stuff, and I gave you the list of apps that I use because I do use an inventory app, and I can literally scan, the software, it will scan the barcode, and you can enter how many bags you have. So you can physically come back here and see how many bags of stuff you have. Again, these are things that I salvage from stores that are closing. And I shoe rack that I use to keep all my extra supplies. So again, bins when I have large jobs and I need to pack a lot. I just have a lot of stuff, and this is how I store it. So this is like my, extra inventory. But yeah,
Yay.
that's the space.
All right, so for the people who are watching this video, if you did not see the original webinar that had information about the computer systems that Ava uses to be very efficient, that's on ballooncoach.com in the member area, and we will be adding notes to it shortly that will have the tips of different programs, her apps, and online programs that she uses to be efficient with her systems. She sent me all the notes for that, and we'll be putting that up. So members, to let you know to check that out for you. And just to clarify for a lot of our new folks who just joined us to be able to see Ava's systems, ballooncoach.com holds 2 webinars a month as a Passport to Success member. So if you buy the subscription for just $25 a month, you have access to the live class on the 4th Tuesday of every month with a speaker and a topic, and then the replay of that. So you can either join live, watch it afterwards, or both. And then the second part is the first Monday of the next month at 9 p.m. We do a live question and answer action plan. And what I do is I take all this wonderful information we get from our speaker, and I break it down and give you 4 things that you want to look at working on. And you may just pick one, but things that you can do to take action on what you learned and put it into your business. And during that live Q&A on Monday, the first Monday of a month, I open up the speaker so somebody can talk to us and tell me a great tip and say, hey, Joette, I went out and used Ava's tips and grabbed all this storage, and hey, here's what my workspace looks like now. Or you can say, hey, you know what? She was talking about that Dubsado program. Not sure how that works. I had some problems with it, and you can ask questions. So every month we have those 2 webinars for just $25 a month for your subscription, where you learn from somebody, and then we put action on what we've learned, and we talk about what's working well for us and what's not. That is what Balloon Coach is all about. If you are not a member of Balloon Coach community yet on Facebook, please go onto Facebook and request to be a part of that group. Ava, thank you so much for your time and putting this all together for us and showing us behind the scenes of a person who's been in business for 4 years, and in her 3rd year did over $100,000 in sales. So Ava is now going to make an announcement. Did you get the message I sent you?
I sure did.
Okay. You want to tell us what we're looking at?
You are looking at the latex. You're looking at the Qualitex latex color portfolio. It has every single color balloon that latex produces. And I love to take this with me on consultations, because there is nothing like showing the client the physical balloons and blowing them up and like showing them the different colors and having it match their decor and etc. So I love to walk around with this, because I used to literally put balloons in a little zip bag and take it with me. So once I heard that Qualitex had this, I was like, I gotta get this. So what I did is I bought several because I'm like, these are going to be collector's items. So what we decided to do today is to give one of these books away. So here we go. And I am going to, the winner is, can you see that?
I don't know if they're going to be able to read it. Go ahead. Just announce it.
Sherri Richards. Who is that? Sherri Richards.
Woohoo! Sherri Richards. So congratulations on winning. And Ava will contact you to set up being able to get that to you. And I want to just check to see if we have any last minute questions before we wrap things up.
How can we get those?
You order them through Qualitex has them. I'm not sure if the individual distributors are selling them now or if it's just directly through Qualitex. They did it right before World Balloon Convention and had them at WBC. What I will do is contact my friends at Qualitex today, and I will put that up on Balloon Coach Community to answer that question for you.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
All right. So before we go, I just want to go ahead and give a shout out so that you are aware, because we do have a lot of new members that have been joining the Passport to Success, and I want to make sure you can find things. Ballooncoach.com is there, ballooncoach.com, and I was already in, so I'm going to log out. So those of you, when you're always wondering, how do I log out of this program? You click log out. When you get to ballooncoach.com, at the very top, there's a place that says member access. You click on member login, and with member login, you use the email that you purchased with and the password we sent you. After you get into the system, you can always change your password. What's wonderful about behind the scenes at ballooncoach.com is everything that you ever purchased from me, your downloads on how to make a hot air balloon, the Chase Bank foils, the flamingo costumes, all that stuff, to all of our webinars. All of that is kept for you forever in your dashboard. And you can just go to your downloads, to your webinar replays, and you click here to access the past webinar. When you go on, you click on the webinar replay that you want and push this button. Sorry about that. And it'll look kind of like the original sales page, but now it's going to say, hey, enjoy your replay. These are the wonderful balloons that Mindy and I did for our WBC booth at World Balloon Convention in San Diego. And this is the replay from last month with Mindy. You'll also find Ava's in this type of area. Then you'll click this button here to download notes. And then the monthly action plan information, when we have that, that's put up here, and the notes that I give you. So I want everybody who's new to us and that also purchased the vault to know how to access all of this. So guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Ava, thank you so much for your time, for answering so many people's questions who've been asking to get behind the scenes in your space. We've enjoyed the tour. It's been wonderful.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, I am going to reach out to Sherri and try to get this over to her. I will be contacting her hopefully before the end of the day. And guys, if you have Joette, you have all the apps and anything like that. If you could just be mindful that I am running a 24-hour business by myself, so I'm not always accessible by, you know, mail and stuff like that. I do try to spend most of my time with my clients. So if you send me a message and just, you know, just be patient. I have my time that I try to get back to everyone, and just let me know, and I'll try to be as helpful as I possibly can. And we'll take it from there. You guys are absolutely welcome. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me, Joette. Really appreciate it. And again, I built this over time, so there's no need to go out there and spend a whole boatload of money just to have the systems that I have. I built it over time. I made sure that it worked for me. You want to make sure that it works for you in your particular situation. And again, as long as you're making money, please don't spend any money unless you're making money. So that's my number one tip.
Well, Ava, I have a question though about that. Didn't you actually in your first year spend money?
Well, actually, yes. However, I spent money that I made, or I spent money on things that could make me money. Having your balloons in a storage bin is not going to make you any money, but buying a piece of equipment that's going to allow you to inflate 100 balloons in 15 minutes so you can, you know, book 3 jobs in a day, that's going to make you money. So again, think about things that are going to make you money today, and spend your money on that first, and then everything else will come after that. So that's my advice. Yes, you have to spend money to make money, but you always want to spend money on things that are actually going to make you money.
Cool. And the reason I just wanted to highlight that is from when Ava and I did our original interviews, she shared with me the numbers of how much she invested in her first year. And sometimes I think people are hesitant to spend money, not realizing that having this equipment and the setup system is going to help you become more efficient so that when you get busy, you can handle the volume of jobs that you get. So
Yeah, having spending money on like the training and getting the experience. I cannot tell you, my first arch I built with a balloon pump. It took me 2 days. Once I learned the proper way to build an arch and the proper equipment that I needed to build this arch, it literally took me an hour to build the same arch. So again, thinking about using your time wisely, spending your money where you're going to get the biggest buck. I cannot tell you how I've used a lot of the knowledge and the information that I learned from all of these classes. I've built upon it. So when somebody see me build a huge sculpture and they're like, oh my God, how did you make this? It's because I'm using some of the very basic knowledge that I learned from a simple balloon column, and I implemented and use it throughout the sculpture. So it's not about just knowing how to build a column, it's just knowing about how to get your foundation right and how to build upon it. So again, I cannot tell you how valuable you know, the learning experience is. I wasn't born, you know, knowing how to do any of this. I had to learn, and I learned by attending conferences, attending classes, you know, doing a lot of research. It took a lot of time. So if you guys don't, you know, this didn't all just fall into my lap. That's just what I'm trying to say. I worked on it, and I worked over time, and it came, and I'm able to do what I do now. So again, that's how I did it. So again, Joette, thank you for this webinar, because I can tell you, going to the physical fast isn't always possible, and it's just great to have this where you can bring it into my home, and I can learn in the comfort of my home. So again, I think you have a wonderful program. Totally enjoyed it. I remember when I started with you, and now I'm like, ooh, I got this.
Yay!
So,
Well,
but I did start with Balloon Coach, guys. Didn't know anything. I was like, oh gosh. So it's really happy. I'm really happy that you're able to do this for those who are coming up, because I love to see new entrepreneurs, and I get so many people texting me that say, they're closing their balloon business, and I'm like, why? And it's not as easy as it looks. So, invest your time wisely, invest your money wisely, and sign up for Balloon Coach.
awesome. I love that, Ava. Well, guys, I just want to go ahead and make one little announcement for you that I did not do last night just because my brain went the other way. June 26th is the fourth Tuesday of June. Our next webinar is going to be on pricing. That has been such a hot topic, from talking about what do you charge per foot for organic, which was a hot topic at World Balloon Convention, to how does the job cost actually work? What number is that magic number to plug in that I should get paid per hour? How do I decide what overhead is? What does overhead mean? And even those people who are seasoned veterans, we always have hot debates on this topic because everyone has a different idea of how much they should get paid per hour, or just not fully understanding the amount of time you put into your business that needs to be factored into your pricing. So I am letting you guys know right now that on Tuesday, June 26th, you want to join me live, because it's not going to be just myself, but I am going to have some wonderful tips from other balloon professionals that's going to help guide you in those pricing decisions and how to really set up a great pricing system for you. So go check out ballooncoach.com schedule and have that on your calendar now for June 26th. Ava, thank you for the tour. It's been amazing. Guys, take care. Thanks for those of you who joined us live, and for those of you watching the replay, I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing you on our monthly action plans the first Monday at 9 p.m. I enjoy having you all being a part of Balloon Coach, and make sure you're a member on ballooncoach.com.